Hello, everyone. This is Thursday the 10th, and we're having the Alchemical Read class on this Thursday. And the piece that we're going to be reading today is Bending Our Way Through the Threaded Thought. And when you see the flip book, the collage on there is a close up of actually the bracelets in your hands, you're seeing. And it's the green ones, like the different colored jades. Very pretty. And this lovely little inset of my braid that you took. Thank you so much.
You might want to introduce yourself, Robert.
I'm Robert, and Susane's right here, and you are?
Christina.
And Suzanne.
And Sandra. Here we are for the Alchemical Read class. So today is Bending Our Way Through the Threaded Thought. And this is the introduction. You are held within the... Let me make it a little bit bigger so it's easier to read. There we go.
Thank you.
You are held within the reed of the fall, and occasionally you remember how to get upright. The wayward spell occupies the binding force that connects all life...
To life.
All life. To life.
Can you read it one more time?
Mm-hmm. Let me get that one little typo there. There we go. You are held within the reed of the fall, and occasionally you remember how to get upright. The wayward spell occupies the binding force that connects all life to life. Okay. And the collage here is in the center weave there is a scintilla of our ability to hold love and truth fully. And this collage, I like you've got the smaller images along the left side and across the bottom, and the larger image kind of in the center right is a close-up of a woven basket. It's beautiful.
It is very beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, I love that one. So in the center weave, there's a scintilla of our ability to hold love and truth fully. Bending our way through the threaded thought. As we thread our way through, we find the necessary means to avail ourselves to our own compassion. We inherit the means through our threaded longing to match the vibrational cause of our longing and bring forward the desire to make real. And this is a collage. Oh, thank you so much. Of me on the ladder as I'm fixing and repairing the roof. And what I like about it is you caught the sunlight behind my fuzzy hair. It looks like I have
so illuminated.
I have glowing hair. Looking forward to winter, we prepare for the dark days of dropping in deeper to wisdom.
Yeah.
You definitely do the cathedral climb with your ladder work, Robert.
Yeah. There we are, moving up and down the ladder and preparing for the darker days of winter. The real causes us to invoke our own heritage and provoke no one to remain closed off from their own demeanor. As the red thread weaves its way through us, we mark our speech with a voice of reason. Reason for the logical to be harmonical rather than linear. Round rather than flat. Squared rather than disjointed. In this time, the time of making, the thread becomes taut, and we are taught by its countenance. And here the collage on this page, which in the flip book is page number 4, is the horses. From the horses we made. This is the red one is Sin Torch, and the black one is Night Sky. It says, coming home from far away, they land in the night garden for the storytelling. And these really are the personas of the horse is the energy of something larger than you are that is capable of carrying you further than you thought, faster than you thought. And it's with the goddess Epona. Oh, and down in the smaller, I see,
Day Sky.
Day Sky, the white one.
Each.
And No, that's each there. Yeah, I guess
Yeah, each in
it's in there. So coming home from far away, they land in the night garden for the storytelling. Reaching deep into the fibers of ourselves, we remain intact and free of encumbrances, free of judgment of fear, free to create beyond limited thought and bring a greater illumination forward. Part of the innate, deep, inherent purpose that we have. Matched by the ease of forward motion, the necessary becomes the step that fits the foot. Measure upon measure assures us that the steps taken are the steps necessary to complete the woven tapestry. And this collage is with Sandra is there kind of repairing and mending and freshening up the horses. That's she's with each, the gray mare, and says the Dreamtime horse carries the stories of the Dreamtime man as he rides the night sky. And this is with the Dreamtime man is from the Aboriginal lore of bringing the dreams forward to people. Formulated by the desire, created by the need, the real unbridles itself from the yoke of oppression and makes ready the open of proceed. The open has shut the door, and the forward is free to create a new path.
Oh.
That's really neat.
That's
She's
perfect.
saying
Mm-hmm.
you put the horses in here, and this is talking about the bridles.
Mm-hmm.
The bridles of the yoke of oppression is being thrown off. Bend into the sound you hear, bend into the floor of your own nature, the natural of you being wise to your own self, made real beyond the clock of measure. The box is ticked of its talk, and the pendulum balances itself as a measure of time. And in this collage is a close-up of the red mare, Sin Torch. It says, Sin Torch, the red mare, is a fire mare about creative female expression, full speed.
Mm.
So she carries forward the message and the stories where they're needed quickly. Freeing the nature to proclaim itself provides the needed momentum and desired results. Results factor in, and the equation is corrugated into the fold for the papered awareness to move the intended into the circle and the round to come out. So let's do capitalize papered awareness as the persona it is. Results factor in the equation. Results factor in, comma, and the equation is corrugated into the fold for the papered awareness to move the intended into the circle and the round to come out. So round exists in the circle, so it's coming out of the circle. The round sound, the round movement. Out of the circle, the round rolls between the pages, letter by letter and note by note, making sure the Sophic intelligentsia is heard amongst all the said. To say is to acknowledge the value of threaded thought, and catching the thread allows the spoken to weave story into the images lit. Make sure that stayed on the page.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
I'll make this image here a little bigger for the moment. The collage on this page is with, I don't remember the name of this piece, but it's a piece that Suzanne and I did, and we had it on our back covered porch. But it has a painting. It's a chair painted white with the black markings and language on it, and then there's a small painting that fits and attached to its back of the seat, and then in the seat are You remember those games that they were a maze or something? They had a little ball bearing, and then knobs on two sides that controlled these tilting boxes, so that you controlled them and had that ball bearing
Yeah.
try to
and
miss the
tilted.
holes to get all the way to the end.
Uh-huh.
So that's one of those things.
They're
And it's
called
been
labyrinth boxes.
labyrinth box. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then
Those are hard.
it's
I
been
understood.
written on, and then also the red
Red.
thread is painted on going throughout it. And then there are these, I don't know what they were from, maybe another old chair or something. There's like these
cherry
long, kind of knobbed spiral things that are about maybe 10 or 12 inches long, and they're stuck into the holes of that labyrinth box, and they stand up like columns, and they're
Yeah.
kind of tilted and stuff. And it says, the call was made, and the chair spoke of many things, tapestry and spiraling spindles.
Oh, perfect.
And there's a
Wow.
stone. The stone
Oh.
there has a voice coming out of it.
Oh, that's right.
You
Is
see
the
the voice?
yeah, the stone is the voice.
See the face with the mouth open?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's, yep. Oh, that's right over in there. Lighting the images brings warmth and nurturance to the sound, rounding its way through the fibers of listening. The ear hears the real, R-E-A-L, and sets its sights of unfoldment. Unfolding are the numbers, shaping their letters into an equation fit to say. You never think of numbers having letters, and they shape them into a language that's an equation that's fit to say, to speak it. The heart opens to hear, and the mind rests in its palace, so that the cranial evolvement can proceed in its need to be seen and heard. The existential presence sits lit upon the arm of its own chair, and the throne is tossed into the ring of formation. And that's THRONE. The throne is tossed into the ring of formation.
Wow.
And here's Day Sky, the horse. A little more negotiable is our life when story and magic secures the reins and we fly.
Wow.
Yeah. The wedded circumference is marked for passage, and the own of own self is made clear and ready to make real the journey of alchemy. The alchemical fold of fiber weaves itself into the reed, and the numbers protect the source of its making. Even as the threads are counted, there are more woven, and the numbers never catch up to its threading. This is the mystery of alchemical thought and the need for release of understanding. Proof is not required. Proof is not given. Instead, the creation, creating, and the create are all joined together and knotted in an embrace of made.
Wow.
And that is alchemy.
That is.
And here's a collage here. Acquiring a force greater than gravity, we rise more fully into the intuitive night sky of story. So here are the numbers and the letters creating words that create the say of story. Time makes space within the situla of codex, and the held is embraced for its watery abode. The myrrh of tale is the ease of flow, and the caught of net worth. The threads, the weave, the knots, all hold each other together and bind the intention to its purpose. Letting the ease comfort, letting the sound flow, letting the manifestation of property become more. All these are the elements of forward movement. To move with purpose and to move beyond understanding is to stretch past the last told and in to the next herd. The collage here is Sandra working on each, the gray mare, taking in the softer nature of needle and thread.
Can you read that again? There.
Read the upper, yeah, absolutely. Letting the ease comfort, letting the sound flow, letting the manifestation of property become more. All these are the elements of forward movement. To move with purpose and to move beyond understanding is to stretch past the last told and into the next heard.
There's a lot in that.
Mhm.
Yeah, perfect sentence.
I think that's what's is the passage right now that's so big.
Yes, yeah.
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 You want to read that part again?
Uh-huh. Letting the ease comfort, letting the sound flow, letting the manifestation of property become more. All these are the elements of forward movement. To move with purpose and to move beyond understanding is to stretch past the last told and into the next heard. So moving forward.
Perfect, thank you.
Says each element rises to meet the sound that makes sense as the senses register the meaning individual to themselves and in keeping with the desire of the need. Needed are the stories. Needed are the images. Needed is the time and the space to unfold their magical play. I'm going to put some comments there. To play at is the mark of children and the wise, as they enter into the door making and the ease of progression. Many turn to the ease, and the comfort of rest is assured. This brings the fed to the spoon of given and the taste of home. That should be the door of making. To play at is the mark of children and the wise, as they enter into the door of making and the ease of progression. Many turn to the ease and the comfort of rest assured. This brings the fed to the spoon of given and the taste of home. And the collage here is, actually there's 3-4 images, but across the top is that kind of that beautiful blue and yellow and red multicolored glass ball that goes in the garden, and then the yellow chairs are there, and the blue piece of a chair at the right at the front of the frame of the picture, and then you have image of the binoculars for a closer view, and you have, again, it looks like part of a blue door, but I don't know where that's from. It must be a box.
It's on the
What
shelf.
is that? It's on the shelf.
It's
Okay.
it's like a little stand-up door thing. I don't know.
Okay, that's cool.
We found it somewhere.
Yeah, I thought I recognized it. And then down below, oh, that is really cool. These two images, you've got a close-up of the, you know, the kind of comb binding that you can do with books. You know, a lot of cookbooks are done that way and printed. But that comb binding is there. And then next to it,
But we've been talking about the comb and
oh
binding,
yeah,
and we started out our books with comb binding.
yeah, all the books are comb binding. We look at those up here.
So
can get a picture
we
of those.
started with the comb,
Yeah, started with the comb.
and today I found a picture that came on Facebook or Instagram, and they had found this comb
Oh yeah.
that was so the oldest comb they had ever found.
I
before.
saw that too.
With
wow.
the oldest, it was the oldest sentence,
Yes.
full
Yeah. It
sentence
was
that ever
beautiful.
been recorded,
Wow.
and it was a comb for
Lice.
lice.
Yeah.
And the sentence on there was something about, may the holder of this comb, I don't know, I can't
Have
remember.
no more life.
Yeah, some of that,
Lice
but
was
it's for the beard
hair,
and the hair.
and for the male it was for the beard.
Yeah, and that's the oldest full sentence they've found recorded
Wow.
of the oldest alphabet. Okay? Okay, so opening to the moment, the security held in life is what grounds the hand to the door that opens. That's important. Opening up the moment. The security held in life is what grounds the hand to the door that opens.
Wow.
When marked way begins to roll out its words, there are many volumes that unthread layer upon layer, so the exquisite mode can multiply its herd. Here we are building, and this has been going through these recent books about building the letters, the numbers, the shapes, the words, and then moving into time and movement. The tolerated position of effort folds around itself so that the cushioning needed will support the frame as it bends across room after room, place after place, hour after hour. The minority needed becomes available, and the
It reminds
equation.
me,
Uh-huh.
today I heard something about, I don't know what I heard it on, but
Uh-huh.
it was referring to numbers, and it was
Oh.
like they were animated.
Okay.
Remember that about the numbers?
Something about the numbers.
But it's kind of
No.
like the feeling of that the number itself builds.
Mm-hmm.
And so I never thought about that, but the number, the shape of the number 4
Okay.
builds the energy to build something because it has 4 corners.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
The shape of the number 0 builds as its roundness. And so it's like, I never thought about it, but it's like the shapes of the numbers, like the different
Uh-huh.
geometric or shapes,
Yeah.
actually have an energy in them. And that makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
And that energy is really what builds.
That's interesting because as
You
you're
think
Yeah,
it's
it
the
is.
form,
yeah,
but it's what happens inside the form
happens inside
that
the form.
builds, that makes it possible.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Whoa.
That's
You see,
huge.
that reminded me, because I'm as you're saying that, I'm looking at the letters of the words on the screen right here, and remembering when I was really little, before I could read, I would take a pencil or a crayon and color in all the O's and the little spaces of the E and the little spaces of the A and the D and the B and all of those. What I was doing is working with the shapes of the words and what was inside them.
Yeah.
Huh.
Could you read that again?
Yeah, the tolerated position of effort.
Well, it's like a
Uh-huh.
square is the energy of 4 corners spinning.
Yeah.
So that has its own energy. You don't think of it, but it is. It's a shape, but each square is spinning, whereas a triangle is 3
Mhm.
points spinning. So it's all those different,
Well, that is
and
cool.
they create different.
Yeah, as you said that, I saw the when you said the squares are spinning. You know, you think of but you didn't say the square is spinning, like you could see a square shape and it rotating. But you said the squares are spinning, so it's like each corner was spinning.
Yeah, because that's what everything happens in the corners.
Yeah.
Everything speeds up in the corner.
Yeah. So if you had a set of cubes, more than one, you know, say you had 4 or 6 cubes, where all of their corners met, they would be spinning. So if they were like translucent, you could see that movement happening. They'd be rotating. Each corner would be rotating itself in conjunction with the other cube spinning itself, and that's the communication. So tolerated position of effort folds around itself so that the cushioning needed will support the frame as it bends across room after room, place after place, hour after hour. The minority needed becomes available, and the equational distance increases its hold, and what was folded narrow is now folded wide. And I love it, the minority needed. It doesn't need like huge, vast mass of something. There's a certain minority, certain number that is needed, but it's not just
Huge.
astronomical.
Yeah.
And then, oh, I love this collage here. The meaning of washed through is for the heart to create acceptance and the flow. And this is just wonderful with
Gorgeous.
that blue eye in the center and that
Oh, yeah.
inverted triangle there in the center, and the two mycelial and principal patterns on each side. The placement of timing.
That being, he's like water,
Yes,
from
it's
a
like
water.
a being of water.
place of water.
I love that. The placement of timing creates a spectrum of timing, and shift of timing and shift. Okay, there. All right, let me get a comma here. The placement of timing creates a spectrum of timing and shift, and this allows more light in each and every sequence. The cut is made in the center of the paper, and the thread is woven through, and the crease is made around the cut to ensure the folded material will be in position for the crease. That is a very esoteric
Yes.
way of describing something coming into matter in this existence, like the book. It'd be like you punch the center crease of the paper and you have your center mark, and then you can thread through it, and that you create, they're called signatures. So if you have a book, they would fold, I forget how many pages, 4 pages together maybe, crease them, punch the holes through them, and then take the next set of 4 pages and crease them, and then sandwich those together, and they kept building them one after another until you had the full book. And each one of those 4 pages, or however many they chose, are called signatures.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that interesting where signature and writing your name come together?
Yeah, that is.
Yeah. The cut is made in the center of the paper, and the thread is woven through, and the crease is made around the cut to ensure the folded material will be in position for the crease. That's cool.
Yes.
The memory originates itself in timing more profound and less regulated. I'll read that again. The memory originates itself and timing more profound and less regulated. The timing begins to grow out of itself, and all that is above to light itself begins the warp and weave, as the connecting streams of light allow a fusional rhythm. What is made ready is made resilient and formed for strength. There's a lot in this one.
Yeah.
Okay, it's the fact that memory originates itself. It is profound. And you can't regulate it because memory is in reference to something that's already occurred, but here the present is in front of the memory, but there's a timing to that.
And the readiness, that's what we've been working with, about the connection.
Oh yeah.
The connection is ready because the readiness
that's right.
makes resilience, and that makes strength.
Wow.
That's what we're trying to build.
Yeah, what is
that
made
that connection
ready.
has no deficit, no weight between,
Yeah.
and that's what we're working with, that energy.
Yeah.
And it's how do you become so ready that it becomes a resilience
Yeah.
and a strength.
And
your
a
readiness.
strength. Yeah.
Your readiness becomes a strength. You have no deficit between your connection.
Yeah.
And that connection is like you're ready for it. You're ready for it any time, and then if there's no delay, or if there is a delay, then you get to find out
What it is.
what is that.
What is that?
And the thing is how big is the deficit?
Mm-hmm.
Is it like 10%? 50, 100.
Uh-huh.
It's how much time was in that deficit, which really wasn't immense. But the thing is, you can't have any
Mm-hmm.
because then you won't be ready.
Yeah.
And then if you're not really ready, you can't
Because
create the resilience and
Because
strength.
ready has its own definition
Yes,
within
yeah.
itself. Ready is ready. Huh. And this timing is here. Look, what is made ready is made resilient and formed for strength. And then you put in the collage of Michael Archangel. Michael the Archangel became my call and narrowed the course of our patterns into embodiment. So that's the strength of embodiment.
Well, that's amazing.
I know.
that he's
It just
in
fit
there.
right in there, didn't it? There are a
And
lot of.
it's a real one in desire
Mm-hmm.
to want to be available. When we all talked about when I talked about it and we all talked about it, the one in desire to be connected in every moment in time.
Mm-hmm.
And you think that's like, oh, that's nice, but it's a real journey to be connected to your core divine self, be connected to it in every moment in time, and that's been a big journey for all of us.
Uh-huh.
And it's like in the very end, the smallest amount will blow up the most,
Uh-huh.
and that's because you're so close.
You come out of the furnace. Bonjour.
Yeah. And so,
Focus, focus.
but if you don't get it, you actually have nothing.
Uh-huh.
If you don't get the connection, like when you have it in every moment in time, you have something else. You have a different kind of relationship. When you and I came together, it was after I'd made that, I made that desire out loud to myself
Uh-huh.
when I was cooking. And I said,
Yeah.
I want to know the divine in every moment in time.
Yeah.
Okay, then what comes into my life is not only connecting with this soul sound, this wisdom, and different wisdom beings. You came, and Joe Stanford knew you were coming
Mm-hmm.
because you are what I asked for. You are the divine self that I am with in every moment in time.
That's true. We are that.
And so when you want that, then you get it.
Uh-huh.
And I never understood, I thought with the divine, I thought I was Catholic, and I thought, well, it's, God or Jesus or what. But that want and desire to be connected
Uh-huh.
to your greatest source
Mm-hmm.
also is a desire to be with the twin flame.
Yeah.
And the thing is the hard part is if you don't quite want it in every moment in time.
Yeah.
And I feel that's why we're not only together, but it's also why we share and work, and we
So
may
much.
get upset, but we share and work, and we never want to not be doing that.
Yeah.
It's like it's organic. Never
It is
want
organic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
even if it's a hard space, we will not go through it alone, and we will.
Right.
And it's just, but it's part of. It is part of the original desire, and that is a manifestation of it.
Uh-huh.
And the original desire is to be connected to your source, your divine as an essence in every moment in time.
Yeah.
And that is not asked for.
Uh-uh.
People, it's just like when they become joined to someone or marry, they love them forever, but not in every moment in time. They don't want to be with them all day, every day. In fact, that's thought ridiculous or kind of nutty.
Mm-hmm.
But in actuality, it's the fulfillment of the relationship with the soul.
Mm-hmm.
And people in this world are coming closer to that, but they're not quite ready for it. you put something on at one level, and they can connect even and spiritual,
Mm-hmm.
and they can connect with it. It's their language. But if you do something that will be comes out of every moment in time,
Mm-hmm.
it's different.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a
It's
lot more.
not their language.
Yeah. There's more volume there that you have to
There's more.
reach
You
for.
keep listening.
And what you really is and what we did in the beginning when we got all of this, we didn't understand it. We hadn't lived that much with that part of ourselves.
It was all new.
So as we live with that part of ourselves, then we started knowing the language, and and uh, and then you start understanding it. And when we commit to wanting to be with that essence of ourselves in every moment in time, we have to live it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's beautiful because sometimes part of you've made room for in every moment in time is very different than other times.
Yeah.
It's that connection that is one that actually I wanted, and it's the one where all of us have talked about and have strived to be available to and ready for, but it's not an easy position.
No.
And sometimes it's almost like it has to build. The want and desire for that
Uh-huh.
has to build. Like, I remember when you came out, it was like, I was overwhelmed because it was like you were there and you weren't leaving.
Uh-oh.
And I wanted to be with you, but I didn't know
I'm here.
that is, come home with me. And there it was. And that was my new life.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I asked for. And so it's like you get this gift that's bigger than everything, and then you gotta assimilate it until finally you both are that gift.
Yeah.
And that's what this world is going to finally, this work is about shifting to that. And, you have people that really like it or like it,
Mm-hmm.
but it takes them years to love it.
Mm-hmm.
And for a lot of people, they're not in that place yet. And unfortunately, Facebook, I would say Instagram does, but Facebook has all these degrees, so you could, you could like it 25%, or, it's like so many levels before it gets to the heart, whereas Instagram, the heart's right there.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe that's why I like it so much. Instagram has already moved that calculation from there to love.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really fool around with anything.
Mm-mm.
Anything in between don't bother.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way it was with love.
That's kind of
Real love.
That ties in with the word ready.
Yeah.
You're going to, as an example, in social media, Instagram is one where you have to be ready to give hearts. Are you ready? I think even Twitter does that. I think they're hearts too.
Yeah.
And there isn't anything else. It's just that.
I love that because in Instagram it's like there's no percentage.
Uh-uh.
You're just there or you're not.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really a learning thing for
Mhm.
people. They don't get any little whiny stuff in between, so they can just put nothing there or they can put a heart.
Mm-hmm.
And that's getting people used to that
Mm-hmm.
every moment in time.
Yeah.
Not just 50% or 90% even, or 98%. That last 2% is,
It's kind of like if
it
you
makes it all
see you
disconnected until it's accomplished.
had a bakery, and the only thing you made was this big tiered chocolate cake with chocolate icing, and it was fancy, but that's what it was, and that's all you made. So guess who your customers would be? Not people that like white cake with white icing, or strawberry cake, or lemon cake, or coconut cake. You would only have the customers that like chocolate cake because they knew that is what you had focused on. That was your entire focus. So when you went in that store, you had to be ready for what? White cake? No. Lemon cake? No.
Chocolate.
Coconut cake? No. Pumpkin pie? No. You had to be ready for chocolate cake. And that's kind of what Instagram's doing. You got to be ready for the heart. Twitter, you got to be ready for the heart.
Yep.
Facebook, oh, well, just kind of bounce around there and see what you want to do. Okay. Okay, the narrow passage readies.
It really divides the soul.
It divides, yeah. Divides the feelings out into all
It
these
divides the
different
soul.
Yeah.
And that's what Facebook's category is about.
things. The narrow passage readies itself for the focused precision. And that's what we're talking about with ready. Narrow passage readies itself for the focused precision. And the position becomes clear and set in the mind. The purpose of folding itself into meaning becomes more registered. And as the registry increases, the intensity of intention moves all things forward.
Wow.
And that's like you go to the chocolate, the bakery with the chocolate cake. Your intention is to have a chocolate cake. You go to Instagram, your intention is to give hearts. Go to Twitter, your intention is to give hearts. It's a more focused, narrowed readiness. All things are connected to, all things, comma. So then all things begin to move forward. The placing forces of time create a memoir of emotional space that confides itself into the intimacy of language. So all things are
That's
connected
cool.
to all things. So then all things begin to move forward. The placing forces of time create a memoir of emotional
And all
space.
things understand all things.
Yeah.
So that creates the intimacy of language.
So here's, I'll wait for that to pass by. So here I'm looking at on the screen the word that, T-H-A-T. Each letter means all things. And because all things are connected to all things, they connect together. So now in that one there is a sequential movement of a T, an H, an A, and a T. And you come up with the sound and the meaning of the word that confides in itself into the intimacy of language. So they've all clustered together. They're very close in. They're narrow. That's not the whole alphabet there. It's two T's, an H, and an A. But it's not Z, Q, R, V. It's none of those. These are all clustered together, very intimate in that little space, so that you know what the focus of the word that is. That's a lot of work. So here we have a collage of the Jimmo girl with the fox. Which one was she? Did we just do?
She's fox.
She's the
okay. We do.
totemic.
Oh, she's a totemic. That's right.
Totemic fox.
Yeah, I was going. Did we put a Jimmo with the fox? Okay. So the fox.
She's the one that.
She's so cool.
Yeah.
I love that. The present motion of a soluble round.
Mary Beth has her.
Yeah,
fox.
she does. Our granddaughter, Mary Beth, has her. She picked her out. The present motion of a soluble round becomes more annotated and spoken. The feeling of personified response begins to thread through the emotionary system like water. So, the given forces of need begin to climb the spiral, and the visionary focus becomes clear. So there's the climb, and it's connected with water, like a water sprout. The visionary focus becomes clear, so the emotionary system helps make it become clear as water. This is formidable in time and gives forward many relationshipial interceptions. The passage begins to relate itself to the spiral equation of intention profound. When the very nature of volume begins to rise through the quickening, there is a call made that surfaces the crown and its crownial equations. So there's the communication of the spiral from, let's see, the relationship interceptions. The passage begins to relate itself to the spiral equation of intention profound.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Because of the box,
Uh-huh.
the chair that we had the picture of.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And it has spirals coming up.
Yeah.
And then it's about the chair speaks,
Mm-hmm.
and the voice comes out of the stone. That's kind of related.
Yeah, and then this has the collage here in the center of the page that is a tilted cube.
Yeah.
So it's a cubed box here, and it's got the Fae face, and then here we're talking about the fall or the autumn, the maple leaf here with the fibers, and then on the top part of the cube that shows this tilted towards us are the part of the branches of one of the trees, the leaf, and then this face that we found, the kind of carved round face, but with the over to the right is a cloth. It's black with white dots on it, so it looks like the night sky.
Yeah,
So he looks like the man in the moon sitting on a leaf on a tree. It's that story is just all cubed. It's all corrugated. That's wonderful.
Really cool.
There's no distance in this time between the equation and desire. When the fires and the equation meet, the crowning evolvement paves the way. I can put a comma there. The presenting factors begin to look through themselves, and the natural becomes the compost of the synthetic. And the synthetic emerges a new seedial equation. So it's synthesized from something. Synthetic, synthesis of all things is often called synthetic. The made of real becomes the equational need as the synthesis becomes ready and the motion to create becomes needed. So you're getting all these chemical elements combining together. You're synthesizing this movement and working with the equations of what you're making real. The made of real becomes equational need. The synthesis becomes ready and the motion to create becomes needed. And I love this. The collage here is with what's showing with the tilted cube are three of the angelic faces. There's, the Raphael and Zadkiel. I forget the other one at the moment. As distance rounds the corner of
I
square.
probably would know, but I can't see.
I know.
Let me see.
Okay, let me.
That's Zadkiel, Raphael, and
Yeah.
yeah, it might be Uriah.
I think you're right. Uriel.
Yeah,
I think it is.
you're right.
Okay. As distance rounds the corner of a square, the call becomes clear and the herd is no longer doubted. The ease then opens the door and ushers in a new time of volume made real and marked for display.
That's really wonderful because it's about, as that moves, it's actually the doubt that is in the way.
Yeah.
And,
It's like a
and
stone is rolled away from the door, you know.
Yeah. And so if the doubt is moves out, then the deficit becomes less and less and less.
Less and less. Yeah.
Yeah, because you go through stages with hearing in every moment in time. You want that, it sounds wonderful, it starts coming, and then when it comes a lot, it's not always the same as everything out there you've been taught, and then you develop all kinds of little bumps in the road that you have to survive, and then you have also these registries. Well, you know, that was right,
Mhm.
and that was right. The thing that tries to build up doubt is the amount.
Mhm.
The more you do it, the more registries of route of right. It's like it builds a resilience, a strength in
Mhm. Mhm.
you, and the doubt has less room to move around. But it's like at this point, when you come to the point where there's so many registries of of that it was right, there's also a bigger fear that it will sometime be wrong.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because as you register it as right, you become more brave and resilient and stronger, so that you will trust it being right more and more often, and the
Mhm.
numbers add up.
Mhm.
And that's the numbers where you're in every you are that divine essence is in every moment in time. And then the so it has this wonderful thing of the registry more and more of that it's true.
Mhm.
And then there's a build of fear too, because you take bigger and bigger risks because you believe you have more resilience, you're stronger, you believe in all the times you were right.
Yeah.
And as that builds, and that's what happens in relationships, and as it builds and builds, then you get sometimes more and more afraid than ever, because if you're wrong, it'll knock down all the rights.
Mhm.
And that's very much in robots.
Mhm.
And the thing is it so at the last part of it, when you've really got so much assuredness, so much faith in it, so much desire, and so much trust, then the, you're going to be in a time of danger,
Mhm. Mhm.
because all the trust you have has really you've taken bigger and bigger risks. You do more and more, but also you're able to do more and more than you've ever done, because you can take larger pieces and break them down. But the thing is and so you'll keep on taking bigger and bigger pieces because you're able to do bigger and bigger pieces.
Mhm.
And you disturb. It's like you disturb the force. It's like all at once, something is starting to hear you from way another corner in time, and it didn't even know you existed.
Mhm.
What being would want to be within their source essence at every moment in time? That means that they could be over next to them in any moment.
Mhm.
Mm.
Mhm.
And so all at once you become a threat to the atmosphere everywhere.
Oh.
Mhm.
All at once you become a threat to everything. It's overwhelming because
Mhm.
everything knows that you're becoming
Real.
a force to be dealt with, because you carry your own trust and truth inside of you,
Mhm.
and your own sovereignty. And the more you do, it's like you take on a bigger piece, a bigger puzzle. Pretty soon, those big villains in the superhero movies,
Uh-huh.
they start knowing you're there.
Mhm.
They heard your last ping,
Mhm.
and it's like it's then you start getting afraid. Well, I'll make a little deficit here between there and there, because if I get on that last step and they know I'm there, they're going to knock me out.
Mhm.
And so what you do is you just make a little tiny one so that they don't. The only thing is you knock yourself out,
Mhm.
because when you've been given that much and you've gone that far,
That's the volume made real.
there is a fee,
Mhm.
and that fee is called do it.
Yeah. As distance rounds the corner of square, the call becomes clear, and the herd is no longer doubted. The ease then opens the door and ushers in a new time of volume made real. and marked for display. The distance of play to real is corrugated, and the play becomes the most valued property available.
Wow.
Counted are the pieces, and the threads are tightened to secure the amount needed to net the value as reached.
It's amazing that in this house we have more things for play than we do for anything.
Uh-huh.
And it looks like it is just absurd. It is becoming so roaringly irritating. And it's like, and it's the most, what did you say, the most valuable?
Uh-huh. The distance of play to real is corrugated, and the play becomes the most valued property available.
And that's when you know you have a dearest friend, is when you can play.
Uh-huh.
So if you have no room to play with your essence, guess what? You can't be in every moment in time.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, the more you play, the more you are. And then all at once, your play becomes a threat
Yeah.
to everybody else's work.
Yeah.
And their work is about not being connected in every moment in time. That's what work is originally about.
Yeah.
That's why you make really sure that a husband and wife don't work together, but they go straight, they get married, they love each other so much, and then they go in opposite directions. And that's what life here is about, is that you go work. Because then, if you can make your work your play, then your genius is moving. But most people can't. Their work is their work, their play is their play.
Mm-hmm.
And one is very small, and one is very great. And we know what's always under the foot is small.
Counted are the pieces, and the threads are tightened to secure the amount needed to net the value as reached. To stretch and reach is to assist in the play of spoken and the imagined as matter in substance. Formed is the nature of ease, as the passage is no longer counted or measured, but lived. And then look at this piece that you picked there, and you didn't know what this page was about.
Which one is that?
It's the one with the little elf. It's the very playful one we did of the the rabbit poking his head in from the left, and then the little blue elf with the green ears, and the little hat that looks like a little house on it, and then one of the night sky turtles, and then a raven over on the left on its turn on, and a fish driving a wheeled vehicle of some sort.
Oh, that was the pieces that we did at Southwest. They were all about play.
Yep.
They were all characters like that.
Uh-huh.
And remember the book with Woody and Lassoing, the altered book, and they were coming out of it. It was all about
So
play.
it's all about play.
That is so
To express your living nature is to connect to the Gaiac facility of rooted presence. The rooted foots the building, and the climb reaches the height needed for crossover. The bring the let's see, I think it's the bringing of measure to substance and divide. Oh no, just bring. Okay, got it. Never mind. Bring that back. It was supposed to be bringing. I think this is right.
22.
Bring measure to substance and divide the cellular process of equal is to accident the mistaken and avoid the gift.
Oh.
Bring measure to substance and divide the cellular process of equal to accident the mistaken and avoid the gift. Like the mistaken was an accident, so. The gift of grace answers the call, and the call is made for the reason of need. capitalized need here. Needed are the measures, needed are the steps afoot, and the rooted Gaia presence is mother in position of spoken. And then here we have another one of the playful paintings.
They're very fun.
This is like reminded me. I can't remember the monkey's name in Babar, Zephyr or something. He's got his little black beret on his head. Speak your need. Get the R in there. Speak your need. Speak your story. Speak the reason of your being the one who plays. Play your part and become the character of your own voice. Reach, oops, I'm going to have to come up with that. Hold on, bear with me for a second while I bring that line back up. There we go. Play your part and become the character of your own voice. Reach to the gut of your tongue and spit out the seed of your origination so that the ground can prepare the dirt of your growth. So it's like the gut of your tongue is kind of like, you have the gut mind, well you also have the gut voice. You know, you speak out, you spit out your original sound of presence. Bend to the natural of ground, bend into the crawl of the garden, root amongst the fibers of the stalks, laying down their striations, so that the color of your effect marks the need of your content. And then here we have Starry. Love that.
Oh.
Little Starry, and then the mobilized comb of self-reliance with the goddess riding that. And then the tree, the mycelial intent. And rooted from the tree is the goddess galactically with all these planets.
That's the one with Starry.
Yeah, I love that one.
Can I have a little bit of water?
Yes, you certainly may. Hold on, let me
I
swing.
can't roll over very
Let me
well.
swing around here, and you want this kind or you want regular?
Water.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
I'll take it.
Okay,
but
there
I'm
you
so
go.
thirsty, but
Okay, I'll give you this one too. So here, beneath that collage, oops, sorry, is there is time to grow, there is time to wait, there is time to bring in the bounty needed for the next to follow. Next follows next, and the next time you hear the spoken will be your own voice playing the fool to your wise one.
wow.
Oh,
I love that.
Part is not parted from. Part is part of the wholeness that reaches into the water that you are and flows your emotional body into the reed need to sound the notes read aloud through the story within the play of words upon numbers unending. Part is not parted from. Part is part of the wholeness, that reaches into the water that you are and flows your emotional body into the reed need to sound the notes read aloud through the story within the play of words upon numbers unending.
Oh, that is so beautiful.
And then here we have
wow.
the
I love
bending,
that
the
sculpture.
bending of the goddess, moving her crown to the ground. To bring to life the story that you play is to unfold the nature of the world you live in. Not all worlds are alike. Not all worlds know the language that play brings. Not all worlds unite in compassion, but this one does. Building a world creates the need to see it through the threaded thought. You must bend into it to see it clearly. Otherwise, you miss what living expresses in its most intimate and loving nature with compassion. Oh gosh, loving nature, and here's dear woman. You know, that's the gentleness of deer.
Oh yeah, don't grunt and groan.
Yeah.
Yeah, gentleness of deer.
Break with the past a
That's the door that's on the cottage
We.
outside.
Yeah.
Is the deer woman was on there? She was all cloth, and so finally
Yeah.
that wore out. But the door is remains, and so it's what when you go into the cottage that greets you.
I love
Wow,
that.
she's beautiful.
She is gorgeous.
Okay, we break with the past ignored to build the new, and the new connects the past in order to reclaim the play of beginning. Beginning to weave, to fold, to sound out the door of open, brings the lighted lift of levity and fun into the cross of never. Crossing over the cross brings the sound of laughter into the equation of color, formed into place of feeling rather than a place that deadens the heart to the notes of joy. Make peace with your heart and thread the way forward from the child becoming the wise one before the age. And this is the great hope, the original
Oh my
way
goodness.
it's designed.
I've
With
never seen
with
that.
a boat
That's
of
so
Ra.
cool.
This is the boat of Ra.
Yeah, the
This is
Holder
Raven
boat is
Woman.
upstairs
Yeah.
Wow.
on the ceiling.
And then this
But
is the great hope.
The Great Hope used to sit down in it.
Uh-huh.
That's really cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Bent into the
Oh,
frame.
Robert?
Uh-huh.
I think I'd love you to read to me, or you can read to all of us.
Uh-huh.
Island Dreaming. That's about the deer woman
Oh,
when
yeah.
she comes to the
Okay.
island, and it's in the fall,
Okay.
and she goes to the island to visit
Mm.
Raven Woman,
Yeah.
and then they have a meeting of all the animals council.
Okay. Yeah, I'd
It's
love
really
to do that.
beautiful.
That's really
Bent into the frame. I would love to do that, sweetheart. Bent into the frame, time unknots the bound and reframes the freedom to create, so that the ease of passage becomes sacrosanct. The sacred threads itself through the work of play, and play of work becomes unbound.
That's what you were just talking about.
Yeah. To job the time into favor. The favor of job is the gift of need. Seeing its way forward, out of time and out of space, to change backward instead of forward. To count the numbers of time, the platonic solids run their geometric lineage through the fibers of climb, and this opens the weave to fit. And here we have close-ups of Ubi. I love this. There's real super close-up of the Raven Woman, and then he wrote on and actually wrote on the birch bark. I love that. And then Raven Man there as
I
one of the
think that-
totems.
I forgot because
Mm-hmm.
she must be on that door still. The door's up
Uh-huh.
is up in the loft,
Mm-hmm.
and so the whole sculpture is in the loft,
Yeah.
up in the
Yeah. Yeah.
We might need to check her out.
Okay. If the foot fits, wear it. If the shoe fits, wear it. If the voice fits, wear it. If the creative need fits, wear it. Worn are the times marked by need, and the fit becomes soft and pliable. Make way for the right shoe to mark the right foot, and the right foot to make the right step.
Wow. Oh, that is beautiful.
Mm-hmm. If the foot fits, wear it. If the shoe fits, wear it. If the voice fits, wear it. If the creative need fits, wear it. Worn are the times marked by need, and the fit becomes soft and pliable. Make way for the right shoe to mark the right foot, and the
So-
right foot to make the right step.
So it's saying that with the voice, the more you use it,
Uh-huh.
the more it fits. The more you use it,
Yep.
the more comfortable it becomes.
Yeah, it
more
becomes
pliable,
soft
more
and
soft.
pliable, not
Yeah.
doesn't feel harsh to you. You know.
And that's the way with love.
Yep.
The more you engage with someone that you love, the more often you're willing to be with them, to be in their world, to be close, the more comfortable they become.
Yeah.
because there's not. It's very reminds me of when we were watching Discovery of Witches and the connection Matthew had with the so-called what's it called, rage.
Oh yeah, the blood rage.
Blood rage.
In the story.
But in it, he couldn't explain it, but he had to be with her all the time. So I think blood rage is connected to that desire to be one
intensity.
all the time with the very essence. And I think that's what the blood is about to the vampire. And there's a lot there about and when they, after they got married, they had the thing we saw last night where they could see everything about each other, and then they were at peace because they knew there was nothing. They were with each other then in every single moment in time.
Yeah.
It's kind of overwhelming to the world, and it's quite it's exceptional. And it's so wonderful. It's like having an ecstasy you can't even hold. And then people get, they're not so comfortable with that.
Yeah.
It's like they like a certain amount, but they would call that too much when it's only really that it's come home to itself.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. It comes home to itself.
Yeah.
As the needle pierces the flesh of wearing, the desire opens its need, and the pleasure of doing becomes easy and filled with the feelings of play. Make your character come alive by grabbing a hold of the pleasure of finding out the end of made. Make your character come alive by grabbing a hold of the pleasure of finding out the end of made.
I think that's the process that I remember when we came together, that it's like the leap that could not be denied. But at the same time, it was the overwhelm of that you weren't going to have any time out. And as we kept building it, because we had no time, and then we were building time, and then we have time in, and we don't know what to do with time in. But then we start becoming what the time in is about, and what that time in, because you can never come together without expressing. So in that, it's like that time in, as it established itself, the irritation started leaving. But I remember that at times I was like, you were just going to follow me everywhere I go. And I couldn't even listen to my own music because you expect to listen to it too. And I remember like
that.
Maddening. And it was like, it was so totally, but I asked for it. And then I had to start learning about what I asked for. And it was wonderful. But it takes time for the part that has always been alone to actually not be alone anymore. And it's kind of an unfathomable thing to talk about because people don't engage in the study of this like we have. But we watched it. We watched it move. We watched what we did with Desperate Times and what we did with, and how we built like a tolerance, like we became immune to the irritation. We had a tolerance for each other in more moments in time.
We inoculated ourselves.
Yes, we gave ourselves we vaccinated ourselves.
We did.
And remember, in the beginning, we all, the larger group of people,
the cootie shots.
There was like cootie shots.
Yeah.
People, people being afraid to use each other's cups, and we were all living in the same space, using each other's cups and all that, and pretty soon we had to give everybody cootie shots. Because that's what they were afraid of, each other's cooties. And, but that is the same thing with the divine, or your divine essence, and it's like, at first it's like, okay, well, this is nice, I love this, no, this is, and pretty soon, it's all day long, you're thinking, Give me a break. I want to be,
I want to be-
worthless.
I want to be alone.
I want to be alone. I want to be
Alone in the
worthless.
world.
I want to be alone.
Give me a sin to do somewhere. Don't give me a break.
This piece makes me think of how much you love collages.
Mm-hmm. That's one of our
It is just
big
awesome.
big pieces we did in Camden of the
Yeah.
red thread weaving the images together, each story.
So beautiful.
Is that in a
Where
cafe?
is that now?
That is behind our bookcases in our bedroom garden room.
Oh, wow.
You see bits and pieces of it,
Yeah, you see.
but part of it's behind all that. 'Cause
Yeah.
Where's that picture taken at?
That was at
library. Oh no.
no, that was at the Lincoln Street Center.
Oh.
The
that was
room that had
cool.
the
that.
shows.
Okay.
Yeah. Treasured are the innocent days of new, gifted are the presents of maid, timed is the capacity to heal the starving, through the threaded thought of relief,
Robert, I don't know.
caring, and
That might have
compassion.
been at Belfast.
Mm-mm.
What are the stools underneath?
We brought them. Those are the little
Oh.
kind of tapestry, a pillow, and a little
Oh,
pillow
okay.
covering, and we put them on stools
Oh.
there.
Okay.
That might have not been during the show. We might have had it there while we were setting up. I'm not sure. Okay, treasured are the innocent days of new. Gifted are the presents of maid. Timed is the capacity to heal the starving through the threaded thought of relief, caring, and compassion. The crossroad is at our feet. The step is ours to make. The ease of play is the challenge. And the play meets the challenge with ease. Thread the ease into your cloth of pocket and story your outcome to the door of enter.
I love
And
that.
there, I love that photo of this box of the Oya ceremony of the voice box.
Mhm.
Voice box. I love that.
And then we want to do all these boxes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're coming forward. Inside the momentum is a formal positional holding, and the formational can expand within it. Every emotionary fold equates itself from it, and all the permitting factors can equation through it. The presentational is named for its sequence, and the positional is emotionary because of it. Wow, that's a lot. Inside the momentum is a formal positional holding, comma, and the formational can expand within it. So within momentum, if you gain momentum, you can expand inside of it. Every emotionary fold equates itself from it, and all the permitting factors can equation through it. The presentational is named for its sequence, and the positional is emotionary because of it. Well, so as you present something, there's a sequential referencing that happens. We are a narrow requisition of this time, and what personifies from it is desired. The greatest formational given now squares form its forms now squares and form. Hold on, let me get this here right. There. Oops, a little extra space there, sorry. Okay, the greatest formational given now squares and forms its own recognition, and this rejection finalizes the curve. That's not right. In this recognition, they changed it. Look at that, they changed
Wow.
recognition to rejection.
Wow.
And that is the energy we've been working with. Okay, corrected
Wow.
that. And that's with this piece, which is a
Beautiful.
close-up of a altered book painting that we did. Love that. Sculpture of
Amazing.
the
They're so
buttons.
Something new, please.
Yeah. We are now more provisional than ever before, and what sums up the difference is the we of all time.
Is the what of all times?
We,
We.
we, W-E.
Okay, I couldn't understand.
Yeah, all right, I'm going to capitalize that too. The we of all time. The central focus becomes more liberating, and what calls from the distance is fulfilled. The terminology needed is now given the words that qualify the expression fully. Oops, I think that was supposed to be up there and it dropped down. Let me bring that up there, the other page. Can I get it up there all the way up to there? There we go. As each layer defines itself, the momentum increases, and what was challenging before is now considered with ease. The narrow perspective flows through, and the equation of past changes its differences. When the curve meets the square, the corners evolve, and the distance is made more self-reliant.
Okay, can you read that one more time? When
Which-
the corner makes when
Okay.
the corner makes each a square.
Oh, when the curve meets the square, the corners evolve, and the distance is made more self-reliant.
No, I want to hear
Oh.
the whole sentence.
Okay, each layer defines itself. As each layer defines itself, the momentum increases, and what was challenging before is now considered with ease. The narrow perspective flows through, and the equation of past changes its differences.
Okay, what I was looking for
Uh-huh,
was in reference to the word each,
uh-huh.
because each was one of the horses
Oh, yeah.
As each layer, yeah.
that we bought down, the gray mare.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh,
She's the goddess
yeah,
of
I'm going to
Kona,
capitalize
but
that.
is a goddess over there. But the mare is called each.
Yeah,
So as each, so think
layer.
of it as her.
Yeah, as each layer defines itself, the momentum increases. That would be the horse, so something bigger than you are,
Uh-huh.
increasing.
And that was the horse that we had the most pictures.
Yeah,
Well, the only one we had pictures where Sandra was actually working on
Yeah.
the
Right.
horse, and that was each.
yeah,
And she was
That's
working
kinda-
with the layers.
mhm.
She was going under all the layers of the of
Fibers of the
the
mane
fibers
and
that
the
create.
saddle, and
So
yeah.
that's what. So read that sentence again.
As each layer defines itself, the momentum increases,
Now we're talking about horse,
Mhm.
and horse is about momentum.
and what was challenging before is now considered with ease.
Now
Because-
that's a good sign.
Yeah,
It's a good signal.
yeah. The narrow perspective flows through.
And so each is
Uh-huh.
about story and storytelling.
Yeah,
And
Carries
right
the
now
children.
we're trying to
Carries the
create
root children.
storytelling
The root
in the long
children, yeah.
spoon.
Yep.
And so it's been its own reach, and it's been its difficulties, but it said it finally the momentum, which would be horse.
Mhm.
Increases.
And horse also is cooperative movement.
mhm.
So can you read when each that again?
As each layer defines itself, the momentum increases, and what was challenging before is now considered with ease. The narrow perspective flows through, and the equation of past changes its differences.
Okay, that's a signal.
Yeah,
That's a message to us.
yeah. When the curve
And I think
meets the
that's really
square,
wonderful.
yeah, when the curve meets the square, the corners evolve, and the distance is made more self-reliant. So that curve happens when the narrow perspective flows through, and the equation of past changes its differences. It curves, it bends from this rigid to a bending, folding curve, and that evolves the squares, the corners of the square. And
That's
here's the
wonderful.
passage through of the print that we made with Susanna as the female between the two
Oh, I
columns,
love this.
two columns of the trees, which is the mycelial elementals.
And we made the
And then the
print at
copper.
Joyce's. It's really big.
Yep.
And then we didn't have the money to
Mm-mm.
frame things, by the fancy framers.
Mhm.
And we decided to do this.
Mhm.
And we decided to put the
Awesome.
frame as part of the piece,
Yeah.
the print. And it turned out way beyond anything we ever dreamed of.
I know.
And there's some of
Really.
they're fabulous. And I remember Joyce coming and seeing it at the show, and she was just kind of dumbfounded because we had found a way to frame
create
them that was
a new
completely original
yeah.
They're so
Completely
ancient.
original.
and so ancient.
Mm-hmm.
Such
It was
a
our
depth to
first,
the-
wasn't it our first copper show?
Yeah.
Oh, I loved
all
the
the copper.
chocolates and copper.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
All the numbers previously understood are made the requirement of the future, so that all is meant into a horizontal mode. The quickened force of relativity slices through the imaginary fold and allows the quickening to cancel nothing. The most promised of locational modes is given room, and what was needed is now desired, and the desire awakens the folded memories of a constancy that runs through all life. And here you have this wonderful, refreshing spring green, and then
And that constancy is that in every moment in
Barrage.
time.
yeah,
That's what creates constancy, is the desire for every moment in
Mhm.
time. And, oh, I didn't ever see that before. That's my name.
yeah,
And I ask for every moment in
Constance.
time,
mm-hmm,
and my name is Constance.
mm-hmm.
I
Wow,
did that.
I love
That
it.
was really.
You called it for more of yourself.
Yeah.
The counted memories are made in a constancy that can open all the doors. We are now in a time as we are everything that knows itself. Each memory contains each memory, and each I contains each I. We are now making the memory we, as the held expression motions itself into a full creational accentuation. So there's each again.
Right.
Capitalize
Oh,
each of these eaches.
So the each, who is the storyteller and the opponent and the momentum,
Mm-hmm.
that each
Mm-hmm.
I is like
Memory,
each story.
Yeah.
We.
Mm-hmm.
What is now covered is covered in all realms. When the narrow perspective begins to run through all life, the visional mode will open the I of the original I, open the EYE of the original I, and become related in every way to itself.
That's
Nothing-
like the tapestry story.
Yeah.
When he falls
Mhm.
all the way down, and then when he's
Mhm.
brought back up,
he
he's
sees
part. He sees everything.
all the weave. Yeah.
He sees everything.
whole
He's part of
tapestry.
everything.
Wow.
And then everything that sees him part of everything starts becoming part of everything.
And knows the whole
Because
tapestry.
all the other beads see him coming back up
Wow.
as part of everything.
And this is a collage of the different totems. The boar, the raven woman, the Ariadne, the neath, the thread, the spider, the swan, the salmon, I think, and
Well, you know, as we gather stories about animals,
mm-hmm.
we always
rabbit.
think, no, what's your favorite animal? What's your favorite?
Uh-huh.
What's your main? What's your totem? And that is important.
Mm-hmm.
But you notice, as you gather more and more animals that you feel connected to,
Uh-huh.
then you become more and more powerfully connected to everything that they are connected to.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool.
And everything they are connected to becomes everything you are connected to.
Mm-hmm.
And so totemics are so important because as you gather and it's like another piece.
Mhm.
Loving everything as part of everything, or loving a being in
Mhm.
every moment in time, you gather more pieces until you are an animal in this world.
Mm-hmm. That is so rich. The creational mode of this timing is creating a cellular resonance that will cut through the holding motion of doubt. The visionary code accepts itself in a way that it never has before, and the allowing is made real. When the making holds itself as valued, constant, and motional, the hearing will clear, and the doubt will fall away.
And that's part of in every moment in time. It builds a trust. It builds itself and becomes more moments in time.
Mm-hmm.
It builds a trust, and that trust builds into a constancy,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when you feel home.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody ever really feels home until they come to that, and then home becomes the place.
Yeah.
I think it'll be so fun that we should read The Wooded Way,
Mm-hmm.
because The Wooded Way is about these animals or people, and
Mm-hmm.
that they were all they left the wooded world, the wooded way, and they traveled towards the sea. It's wonderful about their journey,
Mm-hmm.
and that was for us a symbolic of our journey to here to
Yeah.
read.
When the making holds itself as valued, constant, motional, the hearing will clear and the doubt will fall away. The creational doubt folds into itself, and the motionary weakness heals from the inside out.
Oh, another thing I wanted to mention about this, the inside out,
Mm-hmm.
is that in that when you ask for that constancy in every moment in time, you change, because you really gain nothing. It's like, if that person is part of you, all you gain by seeing them wrong is a part of you is wrong. Because once you take on that every moment in time with the divine essence of yourself,
Mm-hmm.
as another human being or as a goddess or your highest self or your existio, as you take it on, it's like there is no success in finding that person wrong. There is no actual truth in it,
Mm-hmm.
and it becomes unsatisfying. And then you start finding them right.
Mm-hmm.
And the more you find them right, the more right you find yourself. And there's this sense of rightness that settles between you. And then it begins to live. And it's your home.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
I think it's one of the most valuable gifts of that kind of relationship of constancy in every moment in time. That it's so remarkable, because as that person is part of you and you find yourself right, you're both trying to find each other right,
Mm-hmm.
that there's a rightness that settles, and then there becomes a confidence that settles that you've never had before. And you can begin to do things that you've never thought of before because of it. And I think that we were talking today earlier that what was that in the twin flame, in that journey of every moment in time, you become connected to every moment in time.
Mm-hmm.
So you see more, you hear more, you're more connected to everything, because you're a walking desire of that kind of connection.
Mm-hmm.
And until you come to that, it's like something locks in when you become that. And then all at once, it's like you're connected to everything from where you are, you can see. And you see out of your connection of
Mm-hmm.
love,
Mm-hmm.
your tolerance of everything in every moment in time. And then you become like this house that you live with everything in every moment in time inside this house.
Mm-hmm.
That each room is 1, 2, 3, 4 countries. And another room is the galaxy. Another room is the universe. It becomes like you're not only just connected in this world, but all the worlds.
Mm-hmm. I love that connection.
Mm.
Here's a.
And so when you're connected to all the worlds,
Uh-huh.
you can stand in one little square in time and change everything.
Mm-hmm. That really goes together with this the collage here, or a photograph that you did a transparency
Oh my God.
overlay
That's
of
like
our
being out
work,
and being part of everything.
and that is
That's in the Met.
yeah, that's a standing statue of Kuan Yin.
But
and then
what's
the
overlaid
overlay
is a field of our work and
Yeah.
us.
Mm-hmm. And so we brought those two worlds together. Talk about bending time and
Yeah.
space to bring that image in. Pain is not a feeling, it is a place. And that place is regret. Love is not a feeling, it is an expression. Place is not a home, it is a desire. Regret
I love that.
is not a destination, it is merely a fold looking backwards into itself. And we, as a world, and they as a galaxy, and us as a universe, are inside one cell, one mark, one eye of tension. Let go of its need.
Wow.
That is
Oh,
beautiful.
that's awesome.
That's just profound.
Ooh.
Yeah. That is so good. Need is a map to the sacred self, enfolded within the crease and mattered within the cells. All quantum realization is one speed, one place, one moment, one desire existing as oneself, totally aware of its own initiatory existential presence. I'll get that. I meant to get that spelling and I didn't. I didn't have it. I'll come back to it. Remind me to come back to that. We are the reed of the need that folds the desire into the spell. So wake up. The narrow is folded around you, and you are the cut of a new papered awareness, no longer exiled from the tree of life.
Wow.
I'm going to capitalize papered awareness here. Okay. Closure. Tick tock, tick tock. What was made time has made more of itself, and congratulations are now in order.
Oh
Oh.
my gosh. Wow.
Then we have the
Oh.
source here.
That's beautiful.
Who you are seeing. Look at who you are seeing.
That means that we have actually initiated ourselves through all of this.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the back page will be these two. Collage of the tapestries, and you are grounded with a multitude of images and collages there.
Oh, wow.
The collages and words are just absolutely stunning.
It is wonderful. Now,
Wow, you guys, this
It definitely felt initiatory, that's for
Mhm.
sure.
I love how, okay, how do you spell initiatory?
INIT.
I-N-I-T, there we go.
Another
Oops,
I.
another I. That's what I always get, I'm typing fast and I'm always forgetting
Yeah, I
the-
don't know how you do it.
the
Whoops.
N.
in A.
A. No,
IA. Yeah.
I-A.
Yeah.
There we go, got it.
There.
All right, so
This is
Now-
beautiful.
It's a
This is
really
amazing.
gorgeous
Yeah,
images.
there's some nice
and
words.
images we
Images
haven't
are just-
seen for quite a
Oh,
while.
yeah,
Yeah.
images of
Entered. Thank you,
years.
sweetie. You really
You're welcome.
got the, oh, I love the fox totem and Michael appearing in there, and then the water being. The meaning of washed through is for the heart to create acceptance and the flow. Each day marks us with all its alchemy, even in its everyday care, concept, and action. I think I actually didn't, I don't know if I read that. I was so caught up in the images.
You did.
Okay, thank you. And then there's Sandra working on each. Taking in the softer nature of needle and thread, we begin to bring alive the inanimate in story.
You were
Oh
wonderful.
yeah, I love that one.
Yeah.
He was.
It's so
Yeah.
beautiful.
And day sky. And there's the chair.
Yeah.
The call was made, and the chair spoke of many things, tapestry and spiraling spindles. That's what they are, spindles. And there's Suntorch. Dreamtime horse carrying the stories. Coming home from far away, they land in the night garden for the storytelling. Actually, it was at night that we brought them in from the cottage. Up to
That
the,
was,
up to
you're
the
right.
crown, yeah. So they really did come in the night.
You're right.
He did.
So braiding, beating, bending our way through the threaded thought. And that's where we got the title of this book, Bending Our Way Through the Threaded Thought.
Yeah, Robert took that out, and it's just wonderful.
Great.
And I love that the photograph of your beads around your wrist, woven, and then with my braid there set in. Wow, that was a good
That
class.
was wonderful.
That was amazing.
Thank you, sweetie. And then I was
Thank you.
saying that when we were writing it and doing the back and forth writing, that I had one of the odd words for me as I was listening and just putting it down was the word challenge. And the other one was the word doubt. Those were both in there. And then she starts writing, and all of a sudden, or she's speaking it to me as I'm typing it, and here comes the word challenge. A little bit later, here comes the word doubt. I'm going,
Oh.
this is just so
Awesome.
incredibly incredible. I just love it.
Wow.
Okay, we will make this into a flip book and get it online here, hopefully this evening. Where'd my glasses go? Oh, there they are.
And I love the
Reading.
Congratulations at the end.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
let me go
that
back
was
to
really
that.
cool.
That's to all of us.
Where congratulations.
Well,
There it is.
congratulations and breakthroughs are for this week, so.
Mhm. Tick tock,
Here
tick
we
tock.
go.
What was made time has made more of itself, and congratulations are now in order.
It reminds me of Harry Potter.
Uh-huh.
And they say,
Yeah.
you know, they're going to hear their awards are now in order or whatever.
Uh-huh.
It is.
Oh,
They
yeah.
use in order though. That's
Yeah.
what that was,
Yeah.
funny just now when I heard it.
You said
And
that.
I love the Kuan Yin that we moved for the class tonight was miracles are set into this day, so praise the love you will receive and the clarity of persona you are, clear view.
Oh, that
And
was
that definitely
Oh, that's so
happened during
perfect.
this book. And during this class.
That was perfect.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, thank you.
Copy.
Thank you for
Mm,
picking it.
It's really taking in all the formulas that you gave in the book and in your unpacking of it, and about what one thing does and creates the next thing, in that being willing to stay connected or asking to be connected and hearing in every moment, that like builds a trust, and then that trust becomes a constancy, and then that constancy becomes home, and that home becomes the place that you are and you hold, and then the constancy in every moment in time you change, because that there's no success or truth in finding your twin flame wrong, and that the more that you find them right, the more you find yourself right. And there's just a real beauty and simplicity and wisdom in what you've shared here, and I really appreciate it.
Mm.
Oh, thank you,
I
Suzanne.
do too.
Thank
I
you.
love how you talked about building a resilience as
Mm-hmm.
soon, when the hurt is no longer doubted and the deficit becomes less, it helps build a resilience, and I think that's really, really
Oh,
potent.
Thank you.
Fine,
I
thank
thought so
you.
too.
And
Thank you
the
very
other
much.
piece to that I hadn't realized was when that resiliency and that strength happens and comes, that it actually also puts you more vulnerable to the sound, because that means you've taken on so much more risk, and the
'Cause you do
world
more.
presses in on you so much that you have so much to lose by continuing to do that and be that it becomes harder sometimes to hold on to that constancy. You
I'm
know,
glad you heard that. That is
to
really
break
beautiful.
it, and that really gave me some important insight, so I'm really grateful for that.
You're welcome. It was great
You're
insight for me when I got it years ago. It's a, it's a great gift.
Thank you.
I love to become the character of your own voice. I just think that's awesome. I never thought of myself as a character.
Mm.
Oh
You
my
know
God,
what
you
you
are
would
such
say.
a character.
Yeah, and I just, but become it. Become the character of my own voice, and not be afraid to express it.
Yeah, that's
You
been
know?
harder because you're such a character.
Expression.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like the other equation. The more character you are, the harder.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have that character is going to be in the voice.
Yes.
And so you want to match the voice to the character you are. That's a big job if you're really a character.
Wow. Thank you for that. Just
Wow.
the thought of it.
I think this is pretty good. We've had a.
Oh, there was
Mhm.
another part too, in addition to the entire
Yeah.
thing. But I loved how you talked about the numbers 4 and 0 and how the shapes of numbers have an energy to build. And it's like what happens inside the form. And it reminded me of one of the Palladian decks that you guys have made, and how there's like a number 4 that's in there that
Yeah.
reoccurs and comes up frequently, but it's like a whole nother way of looking at that expression of it being like holding an energy to build, and what's happening inside that very number is just pretty wild. It's pretty amazing.
I never thought of it that way in the Palladian deck. Since you brought it up, that the 4, you notice that it's carrying things.
Yes.
It is.
There's things coming off of it and it's carrying things.
Yeah.
And I never thought of it that way until you mentioned this.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
So thank
So
you
there's
for
a whole
that.
conversation in that.
Yeah. Yeah.
A whole story.
And it's in the trigger stoppers. There's
A lot of
a lot of the fours are in there, and like you said, things
Wow.
that carry on the back, and
Oh, that opens up a whole new world.
Doesn't it?
Wow.
And I realized too, in the long spoon for this month, there's a part where you talk about that to embody the river that you are,
Yeah.
and allow it to flow through you so that you won't drown in it. And that just opened the whole thing about staying connected, just kind of opened up a whole new understanding of what that river is. Bless you. That river that you are,
Oh,
that
that's
is the
wonderful.
connectivity between everything, and that connection with your source and with your beloved, or any of that connectivity is actually the river that you've become. and if you don't allow it to flow, then you're going to drown in it, or that energy will, because it will overwhelm you so much that you can't survive it.
Well, you know, in the picture of Lynn, she's almost, the way she has her hands in it, she's almost like making a fork.
Yeah.
It comes down, and then when she crosses over, she's holding it. That's like the arm of the fork going across.
Yes.
Mm.
I never saw that either.
Mm.
You know what? Things are so, when you allow that connection, things are so potent that you would have to see it millions of times
Yeah.
to get all the detail in something
yeah.
that's truly intentional. Wow.
Another humdinger. Thank
Mhm.
you.
Yeah.
Really good.
I feel like this will be amazing to reread this week. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And all, to take it in
Mm-hmm.
so many levels.
Thank you, Robert, so
You're
much.
so welcome. Thank you, everyone, for listening and being here. And
I hope y'all get time to listen to this one.
yeah.
Of course, they would have listened to it if they hear me saying that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, until next week then. We will see you later. Enjoy listening.